Hey there, Start here. So I've had some time to play around with this boss. Doing a bit of playing around with this new Mania mode. I've played around with some bonus mods. You can see my current score and current ranking. This is using this team here that I'm going to show you in this walkthrough guide, and that's at 320% bonus at level 97, not level 99. Now with that said, what I'm going to show you here, you can use at level 99 with a no mods clear. If you're just trying to do like no mods, you just want to clear up to level 99, you can actually use this team and this strategy very effectively with no modifiers turned on at all. And in fact, it should be pretty easy, especially even if your gear isn't as good. Now I'm going to be using all my best gear to show you how I got this score, obviously, but if your gear's not as good, just turn off some of the modifiers, right? And so here is, wow, already at level 1, already at rank 100. That didn't take long. Okay, so to get that bonus, we are going to turn on most of the modifiers with the exception of enemy elemental resist plus 50. Okay, now you might be thinking, oh, you could do a 325. Unfortunately, this team, the best I can do, if I turn on this one for a 325, I cannot kill the boss on turn 5 like I want to. That extra 20 or the extra 20% elemental resist, yeah, it just I mean, maybe with some variance rolling, but I'm not going to bother with that. So I'm going to show you the 320 because this is a very consistent team and clear. Make sure you turn it down to 97. Don't forget, because at level 99, the boss is just going to wipe the floor. With this team, it is a dramatic increase from level 97. Level 98. Even level 98 is pretty much touch and go. Probably have to turn off a modifier for my team to get level 98. But level 97 is very consistent at 320% using all of these modifiers here. So again, here's the party that we're using. You see where everybody is. I'm going to get to the fight first. I'm going to go straight into the fight because Gumi decided to let Dingus out of the closet. The one boss designer who thinks RNG is fun, because this boss has a literal crap ton of RNG associated with it. He can, some turns he might decide to do like next to no damage to your party. Other turns he might just decide to totally murder your party. And you never know. You never know what's going to happen, right? So we're going to get in here. We're going to make sure we actually get it done first. I'll show you the gear at the end, all right? All right, so this is going to be a 5-turn clear. Doing clears beyond 5 turns is just kind of a real pain in the neck. Gumi did not do themselves any favors with this Mania mode. After playing this for the last couple of days, I actually don't have as much issue. I should say I don't take as much issue with Mania mode as I do with this boss's shitty AI, right? I mean, the AI on this boss is just absolutely stupid. Whoever designed the AI on this boss needs to be fired. Just get rid of them. They should be fired, remove them, because I honestly think the boss's AI is the bigger issue with this Clash of Wills. The Mania mode, after playing it quite a bit, I don't have as much of an issue with it. I still think it's a very limiting mechanic, but this boss is just stupid. So we're gonna get this done in 5 turns and say goodbye. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Sylvie started in Brave Shift form. That's for a reason. I'll explain later. So she comes back to normal. Compassionate Knight for your break resist, ailment resist, because the boss does, break your party fairly frequently. Also throws poison and blind at you. Want to make sure you got those covered. All right, and then just her physical and magic mitigations, which also do some morale fill. All right, Elena also started in Brave Shift form for a reason. That's because she's got all those those mitigation materials in her Brave Shift form. So that way she's got those permanent mitigations going on. All right, she's going to do her Omni cover on this turn, Sanctuary for the mitigations, and then Bar Blazaja, that's for Esther. And I'll explain in just a second. All right, Frosty's going to do Blizzaga to imbue everybody with ice. He's then going to do Bursting Breakdown for the 85% breaks, and Katana Flick just for some morale fill, as well as, you know, just to hit the boss with some ice. All right, we're going to do... so Gladio here, so he's essentially my focus unit, right? So that's the reason why he's on the team. We're going to do Frozen Hammer, Shining Hammer, because you get morale by imperiling the boss to its weak elements, so ice and light are weak, and then Death Blow, just hit the boss again with ice. Hio is starting in Brave Shift form because he's going to start with Man-Eater Claw. This does a 200% self human killer buff, if it will show you. Come on, show me. There it is. 200% human killer buff to himself for 5 turns, so that's pretty important. So he will do Man-Eater Claw. Alright, now Esther's going to come into Brave Shift form. Alright, so she started in normal form because, for one, we don't want her to auto-cover. Alright, because the boss can potentially start a turn with physical attacks, and then Esther will jump out in front of Elena. We don't want that to happen. Yeah, and the other reason she's starting in normal form is because we need some LB fill, right? And so we've got Call of the Wild on her, and that's what the Bar Blizzage was for, to add some extra LB fill for Esther, because like all of her moves here require LB gauge, which is just fun. Energizing Bunny for the Reaper Killer, Shatterbolt, and then Storm Guardian. If for some reason Esther doesn't get the 20 LB needed to do both Shatterbolt and Storm Guardian, do Storm Guardian. Storm Guardian is way more important because that's going to provide 75% general mitigation for the party. Because even though Elena's going to Omni cover, part of the RNG of this boss includes uncoverable physical and uncoverable magic attacks. How fun is that? Gotta love it. And he can throw as many of those as he wants. The boss gets to do 20 actions per turn. That's how many he gets to do. And at least like 15 of those are left completely up to RNG. And the RNG includes AoE attacks, both physical and magic, non-elemental. Yeah. This boss is a buttload of fun, let me tell you. All right. So now Esther, she's just going to do triple Shatterbolt. At this point, we're just trying to fill the morale gauge to get into Mania Mode. You want to make sure you're getting into Mania Mode on this turn. All right, we're going to do Burgeoning Defense, and then Elemental Vines and Petals again. All right, so now our team is going to be covered with 85% general mitigation pretty much for the rest of the fight. All right, because we're finishing on turn 5. All right, and that'll last through to turn 4. Okay, Elena is now going to make sure she puts up her magic cover. We'll do Shining Provocation, and with this power, I'll protect you. If the boss decided to go totally psychotic on your Elena, and she took considerable damage, then what you might want to do is do her magic cover with this power. With this power is important because it does the 200% dark and light buff. And then do a Curaga at the end, okay? But since she didn't really take that much, I'm just going to do cover, Shining Provocation, and with this power, I'll protect you for the buffs. Now, you know what? I'll just assume that your Elena took damage. Let's do cover, elemental buffs, and Curaga, all right? Just to show you, all right? Because I don't want you to think you're like missing morale or something like that if you don't do that. It's not a big deal. All right, Gladio's just going to do Shining Hammer. Frosty will do Ice Shorn Force, Anthro Guard, and Icy Grasp, because it does 500 morale. All right, Hio's going to come back to normal now. All right, he's going to do Crimson Undermine for the 89% breaks. Refined Stance for the Fist Imperil, and Ultimate Flame to refill his LB, and it also does 500 morale. Alright, now everyone on the party is pretty much geared for full Dark Resist, because as you can see, when you enter Mania Mode, the boss automatically knocks 25% of its health off. It just shaves it right off, and what that does is it automatically puts you into his next phase. In phase 2, he does a lot of dark damage. He even imbues himself with dark, which is a good thing because we can resist that. So all those like AoE physicals, we can resist those now because the boss is imbued with dark and we have full dark resist. All right, third turn now, Sylvie. Also, you'll notice when he enters Mania Mode, he basically clears all of his buffs. You'll notice that the Imperil field is gone. He basically just cleans the slate. Now, of course, he is extremely amped up in this form, so like his stats increase. He becomes very, very tanky, very difficult to deal damage to him, but it's bearable. And we want to, the idea is we want to survive it for 2 turns, because as soon as you exit Mania Mode, he actually becomes, you get 1 turn where he's in a weakened state, where his imperils are greater, his stats are much lower. So we're going to kind of hang out in Mania Mode for a couple of turns, and you can kind of see what that actually looks like. You see the boss has the sort of flare going on with all the little arrows pointing up and indicating that he is buffed up and in Mania Mode. All right, so Sylvie shifted back to her Brave Shift, where she's going to do her LB, because we need that up and running on turn 5 for our burst. All right, Esther on this turn, just going to do a normal attack. Just got to hit the boss with some ice. That's all we care about. All right, Helena is going to do Brisk Daybreak. So this does the rolling amp for herself. It also does 500 morale per turn. So by the 3rd turn, it'll do a 150 ice amp on herself. Then she do, again, Cover, Shining Provocation, just for morale fill. Do whatever you want there. Okay. Yep. Okay, Gladio is, you see now he has these focus abilities, right? So we're going to use Focused Energy Plus, which does the 3000 focus fill. Okay. When I click that, you'll see the focus gauge go up, and you'll see a little tiny gem form underneath the focus gauge. Okay, and that gem is what we need. You need to have 1 gem filled up in order to use Esther's Vertex ability. Okay, so you'll see that fills up 1 gem for you there. All right, so Frosty's going to come in here and do Glacial Snap for the breaks and the Imperil. He's going to do Icebreaker for the Imperil field, and Solitary Sword Dance for the mod boost to his LB. All right, Hio is going to do Resolute Mind, so hopefully you have this vision card. Otherwise, you'll almost certainly have to turn some of the modifiers off to, to sort of replicate the damage. If you don't have it, then on this turn, Hio can just imbue himself, or it can just use Chilling Brand, right? And that just gives him a slightly better ice amp, okay? But if you have Resolute Mind, use it on this turn. That way you have the 100% ice amp on turn 5. You'll notice the boss also basically gives you a free full morale gauge when you enter Mania Mode. So he just like automatically gives you full morale, which is, very nice of him. Very, very nice. So you see that with some AoE dark damage, everyone resisted it. You notice it was uncoverable, so it's a good thing we resisted it. And there you go. Helena covers most of that jazz. And if the boss, decided to go crazy with the AoE physicals, he's imbued with dark right now, so we would have resisted that as well. All right, turn 4. All right, Sylvie is going to do Paladin's Defense. That's for the Mirage stacks. Beaten Insect on Hio, because he is going to be the strongest. And then I've got your back on anybody. Doesn't really matter. It's just there for the morale fill to make sure we get back up to 200%, because the boss just did a big, like, 5,000 morale hit. All right, Frosty's going to do Arcane Supplement. Icy Accretion for the 150 amp, and Icy Grasp just for the morale fill to make sure we get back to 200%. Alright, Gladio is going to do his Ice Amp, Shining Hammer, and then Ain't No Way I'm Backing Down for the mod boost. Hio is just going to do Tyvus' Spirit for the mod boost. Alright, Helena is going to cover, provoke, and then Crystal Echo to get rid of the Imperil field on our side. Alright, now Esther is pretty critical here, so Static Screen is the Vertex ability that's going to get us out of Mania Mode. She's also going to do Discharge and Recharge. This is very critical because we want Hio to use his Blade Crack, which does the perfect dispel on the boss. Because what the boss is going to do on this turn is he's going to put up 10 stacks of Mirage. And so we want to make sure that we get rid of that so that we don't have to deal with that next turn. Alright, so Static Screen, Discharge and Recharge, and then just a Shatter Bolt. Alright, so you see we have 200% morale. So you notice there's like this sort of, sort of swirling mist around the boss now. That's indicating that he is in a weakened state. And you have to take advantage of that. Well, I mean, you don't have to, but you should take advantage of that. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to go. Okay, we're just going to do some LBs. Sylvie's going to do triple bolting strike with Esther and Helena, who's going to do her LB. Her Bracelets at LB since it's triple bolting strike. And then Hio, once he's done auto casting, which will be sometime tomorrow. All right, going to shift him. Okay, and there we go. All right. So yeah, you can see our ice resistance, imperiled by 205%. If you waited like another turn, or let's say you use the Vertex ability on turn 3, but you're still bursting on turn 5, it would actually, that imperil you'd lose about like 20% off that imperil, I think. It's like 20 or 30% extra imperil when he's in this weakened state with that sort of swirling mist you see around him. So it's definitely beneficial to take advantage of, killing the boss. And that's where like the chance time comes into play. If I had somehow been able to fill up 3 focus gems, I could potentially enter chance time, right? And then get that 5,000 bonus by killing the boss on this turn, which we're going to do. Hopefully, unless RNG decides to laugh at me. But yeah, since we didn't fill up 3 gems, we do not get that chance time, but we still get the weakened state. But it only lasts for 1 turn, so you got to take advantage of it, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to send Sylvie, Esther, and Elena first. Okay, we're going to let them ramp up the chain, and then we'll send Frosty, Hio, and Gladio. All right, well, let's do it. And there we go. We should be doing like around 12 billion. That's what this team's been averaging, which is enough to kill this boss. 11, yeah, I even rolled low. Yeah, wow, that was a low roll. So typically I'm doing over 12 with this team, but it was still enough to kill the boss. I think the boss has like 11. I think he has like 11 billion HP with all the HP mods turned on at level 97. So that gives you some indication. So there we go. That's how I got the score. Oh yeah, wow, Frosty rolled low. That's surprising. Yeah, Frosty's usually right up there with Hio doing, close to 5 billion. And Gladio usually does more like 1.7, 1.8. So yeah, everybody kind of, well, Hio rolled pretty normal, but Gladio and Frosty both rolled a bit low, but still enough to get the job done. All right. Let's see how we do. Hey, that finishes my farming. I'm done farming now. I always do 2 lapises and a ticket. That's like, I don't know, that's just been my thing for the last several cows. So now I'm officially done farming. That's great. All right, so let's take a look at the gear. I'm going to turn on the Party Elemental Resist mod just so you can see what that looks like. I shouldn't have to turn on anything else, I don't think. No. Okay. All right. So Esther in her normal form, pretty irrelevant. Just make sure she has Call of the Wild. Advanced weaponry is helpful. If you have like Paws of Prosperity or the Dragon Brush, those can guarantee that she'll have enough LB fill on turn 1, so feel free to throw those on, but I didn't want to put them on because they're limited. In her Brave Shift form, she's basically just built, you know, pretty, I built her pretty tanky just in case she takes some, you know, physical hits and whatnot. But more importantly, just make sure that once all the mods and everything are turned on, she still has at least 150% dark resist so that she is fully resistant. All right, and yeah, here's the materials. So you can see we're just using a lot of materials with dark resist. Diabolus Synergy is your friend. That comes from Dark Spirit Soul, so definitely grab as many of those as you can. I think I've got one on pretty much everybody on the party. Cool Beauty is also a great one with 60% from Summer Folka and Citra. I gave him this vision card primarily just I gave her this vision card primarily just for the morale fill that comes on it. She's not here to deal damage. She's here for the Vertex ability, and that's pretty much it. All right. And yeah, there we go. Elena in her normal form, you know, just build her up as bulky as you can. Try and give her some good light and dark resist, because the first turn the boss will do some light damage, so make sure you have her buffed up with some light in her normal form as well as dark. If you don't have like the Prophet's Diadem or the Swordswoman's Celestite Cuirass, you know, just use the equipment that you have just to kind of bump up her light and dark resist. All right. You notice I did give her a bit of like defensive materials because she is Omni covering on that first turn, and if the boss decides to go crazy on the physical attacks, you definitely want to have, you know, a decent defense stat. That's also why I gave her Power Cut. Obviously if you have a better card like Midnight Revelers might be better, but Power Cut is, you know, was a free card given away a couple months ago, so hopefully everybody has that. Rookie Sphere Hunter is great because it does 50% dark and light. That comes from Yuna, Final Fantasy X-2. And yeah, in her Brave Shift form, we just made sure we, you know, you're not going to have room for a lot of killers and everything like that, but make sure she's got her LB damage bumped up. You see I gave her Mystic Tenacity, which does the 25% Human Reaper mitigations, which are permanent, as well as the Cyclopedia Mythica Preservation, which does 50% insect mitigation. It may not be necessary, it's sort of like that extra assurance that Elena is going to survive the fight. If you don't have those, I don't think it's a deal breaker. You may just have to turn off the attack and mag mods, maybe. And then Mystic Acuity is just for a little bit of killers, but obviously, you know, the killers are pretty poor on here. Not even capped on human or anything. So she's not really here to deal damage. She's never been here to deal damage in any Clash of Wills, really. Hio in his normal form, just make sure he's got at least 150% dark resist. That's with the elemental resist mod turned on. Keep that in mind. So here's the material that I use, Cool Beauty. Reclaim Serenity, that came from a previous Clash of Wills. You see Diablo Synergy again there. Tyvus' Spirit is critical. Aerith's Choker is great because it does 50% dark resist. And then just a bunch of Clash gear here. Resolute Knight, that's the vision card that does the ramping ice amp. I'm so glad I invested. You know, when I first picked up this card, because I haven't really picked up a whole lot of the like special vision cards, to be honest with you. Like I've skipped a lot of them, but for some reason, like, you know, I love the art on it, and for some reason I was like, you know what, I think this card's going to be useful, and I love that it had both attack and mag on it. And it even has like the double hand for both attack and mag. I just love that. So I was like, you know, this is a very versatile card. I'm going to pick it up. I honestly haven't used it much until recently, until Frosty came out and ice, you know, sort of ice became a potential element. I've now been using it quite a bit. In his Brave Shift form, just full 1 damage. I gave him all my Clash gear because he is the strongest unit on the party. And then yeah, just maxing out his killers and LB damage and all that fun stuff. You'll notice he does have the over limit on Insect Killer because he has Golem Esper, and I did spend the the extra, what are those things, the Esper shards or whatever, to unlock the extra Insect Killer on him. I actually did that way back for Bialcua, the Bialcua trial, so it's come in handy again. But he's maxed on everything, as you can see. He's peasy. Alright, so Sylvie, in her normal form, again, you're just making sure you have her at 150% dark resist once, once that modifier is turned on. Alright, floor help, hairpin's good, that's from Feeding the Return, if you happen to have one, with 50% resist. Angel Earrings, this is from like 3-star Freya, which is great, 50% dark resist on that one. And then yeah, Cool Beauty, you see that one again. Melissa's Vision card, because it does 400 morale every turn. And then in her Brave Shift form, she has the Empress's Celestite Rod, that's why she started in Brave Shift form. And then Dark Velvet Heal, that's another like thing with 30% dark resist, which is nice. Yeah, this is Gladio's TMR, which we got him for free. But the most important thing about making sure she does not have either her TMR or her SCMR equipped in Brave Shift form, because if you do, if you activate her Trust, it makes her normal attack do the re-raise. And if you remember, back on turn 4, we were zombied. And back on turn 4, I had Esther force everybody to do a counterattack so that Hio would dispel the Mirage. If Sylvie had been equipped with any Trust Mastery, when we did that, she would have killed the entire party, because the whole party had zombie, and re-raise will kill your units instantly. So make sure Sylvie has no Trust Mastery at all in her Brave Shift form. Alright. Gladio, he is really just here for the focus ability. He does a little bit of damage, as you can see. He did like 1.5 or something, whatever it was. Titus's Garb for preemptive LB boost. You will have to Moogle his STMR. But then use the Fierce's Talisman, that's from the event. Genji Helm is nice because it does 30% dark resist. Again, you see Angel Earrings is back again. Diablo Synergy again. Priestess's Vengeance, it comes from a previous Clash of Wills, so if you have that, that's nice. Chains of Protection for a little extra dark resist right there. And you see he's got 165, which is great. And then I gave him Ibarra's Vision card. Okay, so that he has Chain Cap boost, because otherwise you have to find some way to put Chain Cap boost on him. All right, and yeah, so I think he is capped on Human and Reaper, but he doesn't have any Insect Killer, and he's not even capped on LB damage. He's like, I mean, you do what you got to do to make sure he survives, right? So he's really just there for the Focus Plus and to do that little extra bit of damage to make sure you kill the boss on the burst turn. He's not here bringing big boy damage, that's for sure. So Frosty, again, you see Genji Helm for dark resist. Insignia of Avon has 30% dark resist if you don't have that. I know it's limited, but if you don't have it, just something with some dark resist on it to make sure. You see he's right at 150 there. And then he's got a katana in one hand, fist in the other. If you don't like rolling for variance, just give him 2 fists, that's fine. Diablo Synergy again, Priestess's Vengeance. Alright, so that puts him where he needs to be. I gave him Laswell's Vision card because it's the strongest card that I have for him. And I think he's almost capped. 300 Human, but 250 Insect, 250 Reaper. Yeah, that's fine. That's just... It's more important that he survives. On the turns where the boss is imbued with dark, and like even being slightly less than fully resistant, if the boss decides to go crazy, you're just going to get smashed. All right. So yeah, that's everybody, and that's how I got this one done. Like I said, this team could easily be used. This team and strategy can absolutely be used at level 99 with no modifiers. If your units just aren't quite as strong, you don't have the EX levels or whatever, and you're just trying to clear up to level 99, you can absolutely use this team and strategy to clear up to level 99. Okay, so don't feel like you have to turn on all the mods. That's just the highest level of mods that I can get with this team. Maybe if my Gladio was EX2, I could potentially turn on like a different set of modifiers or something to get a slightly higher bonus, but I'm honestly not sweating it. I really don't care. This boss is frustrating. Mania Mode, honestly, after doing it quite a bit, I don't mind it as much. It's just this boss is incredibly frustrating. The AI of this boss just makes me want to choke someone over at Gumi. Like I said, whoever designed this boss, it seems like once a year, I think they must have like a rotating set of developers who get to do the cow boss each month. And so like, Joe Bob gets to do it one month, Jiminy Billy Bob gets to do it the next month, and then Dingus gets to do it the third month, right? And this month we got Dingus, who thinks RNG is fun, and it feels like at least once a year we get Dingus doing our boss for us, and this was definitely a Dingus level boss. So thank you, Dingus, for ruining Clash of Wills. I think Gumi honestly shot themselves in the foot big time by releasing Mania Mode with this boss's AI, because this boss AI was just stupid. If they wanted us to actually experience Mania Mode and enjoy it, they should have made the boss a bit simpler, much less RNG, to allow us to actually allow more people to actually engage with it. Because this is just, nobody wants to go in and fight this boss, much less play around with the Mania Mode, because this boss will just casually decide he wants to murder you for no good reason. Anyways, rant over. You've probably seen lots and lots of videos of people ranting about this boss. I'm not gonna do another rant. I kind of made my feelings known before the event was even released, and pretty much everything I said there stands today. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for following me. Hopefully this was helpful to you, and I will see you on the other side.